Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back on Isabelle's talk show. Hope you had a nice week and a nice weekend. And today I'm very happy because I've got a friend coming all the way from Canada. And thank you very much, Lorraine, for being here today. So it's an honor to have you. So before we start with that fantastic topic, I would like to introduce my friend Lorraine Langevin. She's from Quebec, Canada, and she's the youngest of the family. She's got two brothers and one is still alive. She's been happily married for 25 years. She loves to travel and she's been to many countries for pleasure and for personal development as well. She worked as a dental hygienist for many years in Canada and Switzerland. She began her quest to awaken her personal consciousness as a teenager through training, reading, and traveling. She discovered that she had a gift of feeling, seeing, and hearing the guides from above after massage therapist training. She's a woman of heart, passionate about life and everything related to the well-being of humans. She likes to be in touch with people. She works to help people raise their levels of consciousness, well-being, and health through private consultation, spiritual guidance, energy care treatments, vibrational aromatherapy, trainings, meditation workshops, Reiki trainings, healing trips and energetic jewelry, Angel of Happiness. She can bring you answers and comfort. She started a talk show to elevate your mindset with great people. This will be live on Facebook and YouTube. So welcome, Lorraine, and thank you very much for being here today. And today you're going to talk about how to feel the invisible.
Thank you very much, Isabelle, for having me on your talk show. It's a pleasure for me to introduce you to that, I can say, invisible way of seeing, being, and maybe feeling for many people. But just to start, I'll tell you how I started to do that, because, you know, you don't start like that. You have by reading and by having some trainings and lessons and whatever, you know, was available for me when I was a teenager, I needed to have answers. And that's how I started to do my quest to see or to hear the invisible. But invisible is visible for many people. But the way I had the opportunity to start was with massage, because I was a massage therapist. And at first I saw colors and words were coming, and I saw, you know, I was talking to the person on the table, and I was just wondering, what did I say to that person? I was realizing that I was not talking to her, but some voice were coming from me to help the person to maybe know something, have answers to what they were needing. And then after that, many years after, I started to channel entities. And then a few years later, after a few, I should say a trip, more a trip than a journey, I should say, to a spiritual voyage or journey, I realized that I was preparing for something greater for me. And then a year after that trip, I was in France. It's kind of funny because, you know, you don't think that France would be a place or a country for that, but it is. Everywhere is an area for, you know, to be able to develop the opportunity to feel anyway. And a year after, I had messages from Being of Lights. They had prepared me for many years to be able to reach me and to be able for me to reach them and be able to channel what they had to say to us. And then after, I realized that I couldn't keep that for myself. But I was so shy, and you know what? The ego was so big that I didn't think I was good enough. I couldn't do anything because I thought, oh, they're gonna say that I'm not good, and everything that goes through your mind when you don't know if it's right or not. But I knew something was good, and I had to go step by step. And after that, I started to say that I was a channeler. And then I realized that people were curious about it because they didn't know how I was doing it. But I said, you know what? It's not that difficult. There's few steps that you have to know when you want to feel let's say the invisible, but when you want to feel your inner voice or your I am, I should say it like that, you have to be in a state of mind that allows you to not be in silence, because silence doesn't exist, but to shut a little bit of your mouth, of your, not your mouth, but your thought, your mind. Sorry. I do speak French, so sometimes words in English are not as easy, but you have to kind of put your mind away and just be there. Be there means to feel, to hear, to see, even if your eyes are closed, what's going on right now. And when you are in the moment, in the present, you can hear, you can feel, and you can see. But if you're always thinking about, oh, my laundry is not ready, I have to prepare the lunch, that's, thoughts will come and they will go. Let them go. Let them be there. And then after it's like if you were going back, you were just putting your chair a little bit back, and you see what's going in front of you. And then what will happen to you is, if you try to meditate and you can't, put a good music. You can, about the 432 hertz music.
Yeah.
It's a kind of wave that helps your mind to be really in a state of mind, to be calm and to receive. Because when you hear those kinds of sounds, your mind just shut up. The mind shuts up, and the mind just calms down. And then you can, well, it's a way to do it, but you can do it other ways. You can just be in silence with yourself, meaning you don't need anything else but be there. Be there means to be grounded, and to be grounded means you have to be in the present, in the moment, with your heart, with your mind, with your body. And then when you do that, you allow a door to open, and that door, it's not your mind. It's your inner voice that comes slowly. And at first, when I had messages, I had those words or those images, I needed to just justify that it was not me.
At the beginning, it's just like, oh, what's happening to me? Am I interpreting things? Am I inventing things? But
yes. But I was not. I was always saying, it's not me, but it's me. But then after a while, I just, what? The first thing you have to do is stop doubting.
Accepting.
When you doubt, yes, because you intercept with your inner voice, your third eye, and then you can't believe what is going on. Because if you don't believe it, it's not going to happen. You have to believe in yourself. And the first thing, you have to love yourself, because when you love yourself, it comes from the third eye, but it goes into your heart, and then it goes into your conscious mind to interpret, or to have a way of understanding what is going on. It means that it's not your mind that will say something, but your super consciousness that comes into you to help you discover that you can go into a world that you don't know. But it's not scaring. I can tell you.
That was my question. Did you
No.
get scared, Lorraine, at first when you were receiving those messages, the information through images and words and feelings?
No, I wasn't scared at all because I didn't know what it was. But I heard messages, I heard sentences and words, and I was just thinking, I have to write that down. I have to say it. I had to say it. And you know what? At first, when I started, if I didn't say a word, I couldn't say anything. Meaning that there's every time when I channel, I have like a cue word, I could say. Like they always come like welcome or dear being of light, and then they go on. But at first, I didn't have that. So I had to prepare myself to receive the messages, the to channel. So I always said, I want to receive the messages from love and light. And that was something that I always started with that, to be able to open the door. Because, you know, if you don't believe in what you do or what you can do, nothing will happen. You really have to believe in yourself. And if you're grounded, if you're here in the moment and you believe in yourself, you will be able to receive. But don't do anything at the same time. Don't do many things at the same time. Don't read or don't play on your phone, because I mean, it's one channel. It's not 3 and 4. Because people, you know, they think that, oh, they'll be reading and have a, yes, after a while, when you read something and there's something popping up, that's okay. But when you're not used to do that, you have to really put everything aside besides you, because you're not allowing the messages to come. You have to be in a calm state. So meaning that you don't do, if you want to, I can't say the word in English, but anyway, I'll try to find it. If you want to get in touch with that feeling or those words, you have to, like, I'll say it in French and you'll translate, apprivoiser.
Yeah, to tame in a way.
Yes, yes, that kind of thing. So it will come to you. Don't be scared, because everybody can do it. Everybody. But if you want too much, you won't receive, because your mind is going to, yes. And if your mind is always asking, oh, I want to do it, it's like if you pull a rope, but you don't let go. And if you don't let go,
it's like forcing things. So you won't receive, and because you're not open enough. It's just, in a way, I would use that expression, is go with the flow and just let it go, let it flow, and so the answer will come. And maybe, I suppose, might not come straight away, it might come later, I don't know. Sometimes I'm thinking about something and I get the answer in a song. Oh, well, I remember that that answers my question. Or somebody having a conversation next to me and it's just like they're just talking about what I was asking for. So,
you know what we call that? Synchronicity. And you know, when the guides or being of lights, or you can call them whatever you want, when you ask, they answer, but not always the way you want.
Exactly.
The way you need. It's a different thing, because when you need an answer, they might send you, like you said, a song, or someone is calling you about something that you didn't know, and oh, that answers what I wanted. Or you read something and it's always how they do it. Sometimes they go through really fast and they send you the answer really fast. I do hear the answer, but it's you know, with practice for many years, because you don't hear that at the first time. Oh, you could. It's like the luck of the first, let's say you want to learn how to play tennis. The first game, you win. But yes, but we call it the luck of the first game or something like that. but it's not because you heard once that the day after it will come like that. You have to tame that kind of thing. You have to go slow. If you go too fast, you can go in another way. And you know, when you open that door, you have to be sure of what you want. Because you can open a door up or down. I don't know if you understand what I mean. You can open doors, but if you open doors, you have to know how to close the doors also. Meaning, if you open a door, you have to close it. If I do channel, I have to open, and then after I have to close, because the energy that is there, it's not for me. But when I do channel, let's say I want to just meditate and have answers, it's another way to channel. But then I do get the ground. I do ground myself, and then I do a ritual, I should say. I do. I have my singing bowls. I don't know if you can see them in the back.
Oh yes,
my singing bowls, and then essential oils, and I do, have a ritual about that, because what I do is I just calm myself. My body is calm, and I'm ready to hear. I'm ready to listen to what they have to say. Yes. And then after, I can't do anything else, because if I do something else, it's like if you are reading and you want to watch a TV at the same time and eat and listen to someone else, you can't do that.
No.
If you do that, try to be in a good way. Let's say if you want to try the writing, because you can have messages with the writing, some people can write. And, at first when I did that, the messages weren't clear. And I said, how can I give that to the person in front of me if I can't read it? So I said, you want me to write, but it has to be easy to read. And I can tell, yes.
I knew a lady in France who was a channeler like you, and she would be like in a way in a trance, and would get a piece of paper and a pen and would write, and all the words were linked. So sometimes that was difficult to read.
Yes.
And at the end of the session, she would have a look at the letter, and she couldn't actually remember what she had written.
I know.
She was just a channeler, just like in a way writing and nothing else. And then we had to separate the words, literally, to understand the message. But that was just amazing to see her do it. And for example, even without her reading the letter, for example, I would take the letter and just say, okay, tell me what they said. She said to me, I don't know. I was just writing without knowing what the information was. So.
And you know what? When I started reading, I started channeling. When it's with someone, with one person, I should say, a private one, they always have me writing, because I don't know who's there. And I have to know who's there for the person. And I don't know who's coming, because it's the guide or the spiritual guide or the being of light that the person needs. So I can't say, oh, it's Michael, the Archangel Michael, or Alcian, or whoever. I can't tell you. Just when I finish writing, and I never read the writing. I turn the page over and I give that to the person after. It's like a gift from the guide. It's really a gift, because it's really something different from what I channel. And when I do that, it's such a joy. I should say a joy. And there's just so much love, always.
Of course.
And what it does to me, I'm really in the moment, and there's nothing else. There's nothing else. And when you start to be in the right moment, and you want to channel, or you want to try it, or you want to hear your inner voice, just be there. You know what? You can do it by walking in the woods, or just be near a river, or just be there without music, without anybody talking. Just be there. And if you have a room in your house, there's an area where you feel really in peace, that's where you should do. That's where you should go and be in peace with yourself, meaning just take few moments just to be there, to be grounded, to have a candle if you want, light a candle, and have a glass of water, have paper, to be able to write if you want to write. But if you don't, if you just try too hard, you won't hear anything, you won't see anything, and you won't be able to write anything because your mind will be in the way.
Yeah.
That's something difficult. That's the worst, I should say, the hardest thing, because the mind is so powerful that the mind wants to control. But when you say to that mind, I'm not afraid, I'm not scared, I'm just going to be there. You're going to be there with me, but I just want to hear. I just want to listen to what they have to say. Then it comes. It comes easily. And it comes easily with such, like I should say, with love, that you'll, at first you might hear you might have just a word, and you'll say, where does that word comes from? You don't need to know. You don't need to know everything about that. You just need to know that if you hear, or if you have a word that is coming, or you have let's say an idea, you say, how can I do that? And then a few minutes after or an hour later, you'll say, oh, I have an idea. Well, you know what? It's not always your mind. It's your inner voice. It's your third eye. It comes from there. They tell you what you need, but you have to listen because there's many channels.
Oh, yes.
Like a radio channel. So the radio channel, like you can hear, you can feel, like when you have goosebumps. Sometimes when I do have goosebumps, it confirms what the person says or what they say. Oh, it's really true, because I do feel it in my body.
Exactly. I'm the same.
Yeah, goosebumps, or you just feel something. That's your inner voice. And then when you want to hear, sometimes people can't see, sometimes people can't hear, but they can feel. Everybody can feel. So people, when they tell me I don't see when I do meditate, you don't need to see, but you know what is a tree. So you know things like that. You know what is a tree. Well, you know what is a cat. You know what is what is the sun. How you feel when you have sun on your skin. You feel it on your skin. That's how you can feel. You don't need to see the sun if you're in your office, but you know that it's there. You don't need to see whatever a cat, because you know what is a cat. Things like that. So you don't need to see, you don't need to hear, you don't need to feel, but everybody will have a sense that will be higher than the other, and sometimes it's 1, 2, or 3. So I can hear, I can see, and I can feel. When at first, what it's, and for me it's like when you go to a cinema, to a movie. That's like that. When they show me, when they give me the answers and my eyes are closed, it's like a movie. So I do have to explain what I see, but they do give me the words to explain what they show me. That's how I do it. But I don't want to interfere, because it's one way. It's a really one way. So when I channel, it's one way. So I can't, when I'm in trance and I do channel, and I can't ask questions. Someone has to ask the questions, because I can't. It's a one way.
Yeah.
When they do ask, the answer comes. So that's how it does. That's how it comes. But for everybody who wants to start, I should say, start to meditate. If you can't, you don't have to meditate for 2 hours. 5 minutes. Try 5 minutes, and then 10, and then you won't see the time. Oh, half hour, and it's okay. And do it in a certain time where you know you won't be disturbed. Because if you want to hear, or you want to feel, or you want to see, if you are always disturbed by everything, you won't be able to do it. It doesn't come like that. It comes in a way when you're inner, I should say, when you are in peace with yourself. When you are in peace with yourself, when you are calm, that comes a lot easier, and it comes faster because you allow to open the door.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what I mean?
Oh, yes, I do. I totally do. And anyway, I had the pleasure to have a session with you, and that was fantastic. So that's for sure. But I've got a question, Lorraine. Do
Yes.
you work with the same beings, or do you have several beings depending? You were talking about angels. Depending on the situation, depending on the question, depending on the person, I suppose your helpers, as I would say,
Yes.
are probably different. So
Yes, depends. I should say that depending of where the person is, meaning that if you've never heard about anything about that, I'm not sure you'll understand the words or the messages from the being of lights, because they're really did something. The vocabulary is really different. But if you start in that spiritual journey, well, maybe there'll be archangels, and that'll be easier for you to understand the words and the meaning of what they have to say. And it could be ascended masters. But if it is that, it is what you have to receive. But I do channel masters of lights, being of lights. I should say master of light. That would be a great name.
yeah, that's nice.
Being of lights. Yes. Archangels and ascended master. Ascended masters could be like, what name should I tell you? Could be Jesus, or it could be more, I should say, more like archangels. More, I should say, I channel more archangels than my ascended masters. But and being of lights, they could be like being of lights from Sirius or Orion or the Pleiad, or areas like that. The world is so big. You don't know anything about the world when you go into that field. I should say field. It's like so big that everybody could come. But I do channel those being of lights, and I should say more archangels. But I do not channel people that are dead, like your grandmother that is dead, or your brother that is dead. I do not go there. It's not my radio channel. I explain it that way. I explain it that way because people understand. I could see them, but it's like if they have a glass in front of them, so I can't talk to them, but I know what they are doing and I know where they are. But I can't have a conversation with them. It's not what I do. But I do have all the messages from the higher beings. So that's really what I do. That's really what I channel.
Wow, that's fantastic, Lorraine. You've given us some tips to to feel the invisible and to listen to ourselves and give ourselves the time to just calm down so we can listen to the messages our guides and beings of light have for us. So any experience you could share with us? I mean, not regarding maybe one of your clients or something. I know it's a bit confidential, but like what happened? Because I know that for me, I asked some question when we met, and you gave me some answers, and slowly and surely things are happening. So so in a way, I suppose you had like positive experiences as well for your clients.
Yes, I should say that everybody after they had a session with me, they always say to me, few weeks, few months, you know what you told me? It happened. Yes, I got what I wanted, or I got what I needed. And everybody tell me that. Everybody. I don't expect it because I know, you know what, I do that with, you know, I do give, I do transmit the messages, but I do give them the messages, but every time people tell me, I listen to the recording every week for a month, and it happened to me, and things like that happened to me. Not always in the time that you want, but when you need it, it will happen. But everybody tells me that. So I'm really pleased to hear about it, but I don't expect anything because I do what I have to do. But when people tell me that, it's really grateful because I find that for me in a body, I should say, you know what? Our mind needs to have confirmation sometimes. And I do like when people tell me that, because I say, well, you know what? It proves me that I'm right. And they give me the good answers. And I have to tell you something. I have to tell you a story. A few years ago, the beings of light had me, they wanted to be sure that I was really at the right time, at the right place, at the right time, etc. And they challenged me, but I didn't know that. They told me, because we asked if they were going to be there all the time. And they said, no, we're going to go away, but we're going to come back. And you'll channel other being of lights. I started to, you know, I wanted to, one day I started, I was prepared, I was ready, and then I couldn't do anything. I couldn't hear anything. I couldn't see anything. Nothing was happening. And I said to my husband, I can't do it today. It's too heavy. I can't. You know, when I start doing channeling, it's light. It's not heavy. It's really subtle, and it's smooth, and like when you go with the flow, but it didn't go with the flow at that time. Then a week after, the being of lights that I started to channel a few years ago were Alcyon. And they came back and they told me that they had challenged me to be sure that I was aligned like that. And then after, they said, you'll never have to go through that again. If I had channeled the being that were supposed to be there, they would have never come back. Alcyon would have never come back. So you know what? And they send me persons, you know, people to challenge me also, to be sure that I know, and I can feel it. I can't feel them when they come. I know they just want to challenge me. But I say, there's nothing to challenge. Yeah. If you don't want the answers, well, that's the way it is. But anyway, I do have so much pleasure to do that. It's a joy and it's a pleasure for me to have people having answers for what they need. And, you know, I can do that private. I do that in presential, and I do that with Zoom. So it's easy for people who come all over the world to have a channeling with me. They can take an appointment, or they can.
Yeah.
Yes. And you know what? You're in.
We had a session.
You're in Ecuador.
Zoom. Exactly. I'm based in Ecuador, and you're based in Canada. And thanks to Zoom, we can have sessions with our clients. And
yes.
Well, Lorraine, thank you ever so much for this presentation. And if you want to contact Lorraine, in the description of this Facebook Live, you will find a link, her email address, so you can contact her. She's on LinkedIn. She's got a Facebook page as well. You've got her email here next to her name. So don't hesitate, because really, Lorraine is fantastic. I can really vouch for that. For the session I had, it was just like fantastic. So Lorraine, thank you very much. So
and I just have to say something else, Isabelle. I'm starting. Yes, just to finish, I'll do have podcasts and interviews with people to elevate your mindset, with great people. So if you want to participate, or if you just want to watch or listen to what it's going to be on YouTube and on Facebook. So just follow me on Facebook and you'll see everything.
Exactly. And I know that Lorraine is a fantastic host. So
thank you very much, Isabelle.
You're welcome. And my next guest will be Luisa Batista. And Luisa was my first guest when I started the talk show. She's coming back and we are going to talk about breath work. And so if you've missed the previous talk shows, well, you know, I've always said to you, don't worry, subscribe on my YouTube channel, Phoenix Coaching and Training. Click on that little bell so you get the notifications and you won't miss any more. So anyway, I'll see you next week. Thank you again, Lorraine. And don't hesitate to contact Lorraine for a session. She's really fantastic. And well, I'll see you next week. So see you next week with Luisa. Thanks, Lorraine. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.